So my name is Tristan, and I have autism, autism spectrum disorder, whatever you want to call it, and as the title of the video reads, I'm lonely. It's because, well, I am indeed lonely, and yeah, um, so I've been thinking about this a little bit on the night, and simply because when I was outside at night doing a nightly hoop session, I would hear my neighbors, my next door neighbors, having fun, just having fun time in their life. And I could overhear one of my friends who I'm still cool with to this day, but don't really talk to that much for various reasons. And, it really had me feel a type of way. Not like I have animosity towards them, which I wouldn't have in any circumstance, but it was just that overwhelming feeling of when every summer, I don't do a goddamn thing. I don't do a goddamn thing socially, man. Besides, like, talk to my family, like, I don't do a goddamn thing socially, man. Like, I really don't. Like, this isn't supposed to be a pity party. It's just supposed to be honest with how I feel. And honestly, how I'm doing today. Because honestly, I've been doing well. I've been doing okay. And there has been some days where my mind is not right. We all have those days. We all have those days where something feels that you do daily, it feels 10 times harder, whether that's of sleep, whether that's of energy, whether that's of mindset, whether that's of anything. We all have those days where our mind is just not right. And then the next day you could just be all fine. You could have a great day. And I hadn't really had a great day today. But then I went outside. I really indulged myself into getting some physical activity done, and I did so, and I did so greatly. And then when I went outside the second time, my mind was just not was just not set in place, and it really didn't as go well as the first time. And then I went outside the third time, and that happened, and I was really like, yeah, man, I'm lonely. I really am lonely. Like, I do have some friends. Sure, I have some friends at school, but I don't really know if they're my real friends or not. I know certainly my friends back from middle school, 7th to 8th grade, my two friends from middle school, I know that they're real friends at all, but I don't know if the others are. I mean, I know my online friends, like some of them I'm cool with, and some of them I can talk to, but like the rest of my so-called friends at school, people I'm cool with, like I don't know if they're actually my friend or not. Like, and I said this before. Some people are just naturally corny, and some people just talk about other people, whether that's laughing when they mention their name, talk shit behind it about their back, and the same thing happens to them. So you can't help but laugh about it and laugh at the toxic culture that has been really created. And here's the thing: men's mental health is important. It really is. I'm not saying men's mental health is important to demean women, but there's a certain stigma in men that we're tough, we're all that. And I know people have heard the sentiment 100 times over recent years for various reasons, but at the same time, it's like, yeah, dude, like, men really have it going out rough in that. And when I was thinking this over while I was outside, I I thought back to when I actually went to a birthday party. Now this was back in elementary school. I don't know if it was probably kindergarten, and I remember this photo of me from that party. It was at a trampoline park, and basically I was sitting there, basically we were sitting on a bench inside there, and I was literally just on the far side of the bench. And then the birthday kid, the kid that I was once friends in pool with, who I don't talk to anymore for various reasons, and yeah. So there was two other kids there. They were all around him. He had his arms around him, and I was just on the far end of the bench. And yeah, that was a picture, and I was thinking over that and I was like, yeah, that that pretty much sums it up. That sums it up greatly. And, I don't, it's tough. It's tough, and I hate when, again, I've said this before, and I'll say it again. The sugarcoating for autism needs to stop. It just has to. It just has to. Because people say it's a superpower and all that. The thing about autism, the only positive thing about autism is that you could be super locked in on something, or you could be super creative, but in a system, but in a school system where they want you to be more of a worker than an actual thinker. But they'll never tell you that. The school will never tell you that, because they want you to believe that they actually care about you, but they don't. Now, am I saying that, saying, oh, the people at the school don't care about you? No, the school board certainly doesn't give two shits. But like at the end of the day, in a world where working is the typical option for an autism, where an autistic person, a super creative person, indeed, they're going to suffer. Not just because they can't socially act well, it's because they're not really that working type. Because they're creative. But they don't want that. They want workers. That's literally what it is. And and when I say I'm lonely, it's because like, besides like school, like I don't have any social interactions with people outside my family after that. Now I think about it. I've never been really, besides like kindergarten, besides elementary school, like I haven't been to no parties unless it's like a neighbor's party. Unless it's like a 4th of July pool party. I haven't been to any parties. I haven't been to any parties, man. And I'm not trying to get a pity party here. I'm just being honest. Like, I really didn't think about it that much. Like, I haven't been to a homecoming. I haven't been to a winter formal. Like, I really didn't think about it. But now when I'm getting older, now when I'm getting like this point in my life where like I only got 1 year left, like, and then I'm done. I'm not even concerned with like the schoolwork because I know I'm going to pass it. They're going to go easy on me. The only thing that I'll care about is the interview, which will be easy. All I have to do is just answer the questions, because at the end of the day, it's not like you're presenting in front of a whole class of kids of your age that are most likely to make fun of you. You're just talking to 4 adults. That's it. You just answer their questions. You don't overthink it. And you just go through it. And then you're done. Then they don't talk to you no more. And then you graduate and they move on to the next batch of kids that they can manipulate to act like they give a damn about them. But I think we're already way too smarter than that to realize that. But hey. And yeah, man, like, and I just wanted to talk about this because like it's been on my mind all night. Probably didn't clear my head out the best way possible, but mental health is important, and I hope everybody's doing well. I'll more than likely just I'm gonna feel better about it. I'll feel way better about it tomorrow. I'm already kind of feeling a little better, bit better now that I've talked about it. It is what it is. It's just like the thing that hurts me the most is not like that I'm getting social interactions during the summer. It's that I'm wasting my time. Yeah, I'm literally just wasting my time. I'm gonna try to like grind and try to make this YouTube shit work or whatever else because like yeah man, like time is flying by very fast. The summer is flying by fast and back to school shopping is back now. It's argued and it's like yeah, that pretty much sums it up right now. So I hope everybody's doing well, whatever they're doing, wherever they're at. I hope everybody's doing well. And yeah, man, like keep your head up because you know, like you sometimes have these tough nights. Like my mental has been so much better compared to the last few years because now that I'm thinking about because here's the thing. Back when I was at my dad's, back when I was at my dad's, we would used to fight a lot, and I would have to put my guard up at a younger age, and I now go back to my mom's house. Sometimes something would happen and we'd get yelled at. Sometimes it would be rough on the edges, and that kind of fucked me up in a way. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie, man. And that was my social interactions. And then I would go to school, in which I would be said I'd sound like a robot, in which schools didn't know what to make of me, in which seventh grade math made me feel like an idiot. It's just a lot, man. Like I was so used to putting my guard up and having the stress to get on school on time because my dad lived a half hour away from the school and sometimes we wouldn't be at school sometimes we wouldn't be on time. Then have to deal with comments from my peers which would make me feel I was just pelted by a brick, pelted by a rock. Again, called a robot. Like that's what I think about. That's what I think about whenever then in high school, bleakest time of my life until last year started. I actually made some friends. I kind of actually got somewhat better at basketball in a way. Made some enemies, but I don't want to associate myself with losers who talk shit behind people's back. But you know what? It's okay. It's okay. I'm not the best artist. I'm not the best student. I'm not the best at really anything. I don't know what I'll do, whether it's this or something else. But what I do know is this is that I want to have fun while I'm here. And I want to leave an impression of me on people that I'm not what the example that I was given when I was growing up. Because I still have demons in the past. I still have demons today. From my dad not being able to put down a cigarette, not being able to put down a beer, to my mom who smokes, and add on to the fact that I sometimes the reason that I kind of have anxiety, the reason that why I kind of have shortness of breath sometimes, the reason why I have autism is because they couldn't put down a goddamn cigarette. They couldn't put down a goddamn beer. Now here I am, all fucked up. I don't want to be that example. if I ever have a kid, I'll want to be that example. I hope they don't have this. Like, again, like, I really don't want kids. But if I do have a kid, because it's always if, you never know what life throws at you. You never know what's going to happen. And I don't, and if I ever have a kid, I'm not going to set their example. I hope they don't have what I have. I'm not going to do, I'm not, again, I'll be straight edge. I'm not going to do alcohol. I'm not going to do cigarettes. Alright, I'm not. And maybe in a way, my experiences have been a blessing, because it showed me the horror of life. It showed me the horror of life, and now I know what not to be. Now I know that this is what you shouldn't be, and that this is what you should be, and how to better handle myself in circumstances that once I wasn't in control, that once I was young, that once I was naive, that once I was scared, that once I was angry, and that once I was alone. And I do it for a small kid who was all happy, who didn't know what was coming for him. I do that for the 11-year-old kid about to turn 12, around after Christmas time, when his dad was all drunk, and he ran away from him because he was scared, and he went to a neighbor's house. He went to a neighbor's apartment to get away from him. And that he dealt with a trauma of his dad telling him to not come back there, which 11-year-old him couldn't understand. To the 15 or 16-year-old kid who at one night recorded a video of his dad calling him a little asshole, and him just laughing to himself, because that's how broken he was. Broken to the point where all you could do is just laugh about it. Broken to the point where you can just laugh to yourself. Where all you could do is just laugh to yourself, because that's your just natural reaction to all of it. And I think he might have cried. He had definitely cried before. Especially in that night, especially during that trip to school where the parkway wasn't open, and he basically suffered road rage. And he was crying and screaming. Used to being called all these types of names. That's why I've been emotionally distant. And, I don't want to be like my father. I at least don't want to do what he did, which was become addicted. He showed me the horrors of addiction. And now I take that with me for the rest of my life. Because with that experience, I'm never gonna do that shit. I won't, and I never will. I promise to myself. I do it for my younger self, who back in 8th grade wrote a letter to himself, and I already know the letter he probably wrote was bullshit, because I know deep down who he was. I know deep down that he was a scared kid who had nowhere going to him, who was filled with rage for a school system, teachers, everybody around him just underestimated him, just simply wronged him. And he was pissed off at all of them. And him going into a new school and being truthfully scared for his life, not knowing what's ahead. Now I'm going to tell that kid, thank you. Thank you for sticking in there. Thank you for not actually trying to do it. And it's going to be rough for these first 2 years. I'm sorry to tell you. But you're going to find lots of love and passion. You're going to get into music, specifically rap. You're going to get a Twitter account. You're going to make some online friends. And then in junior year, that's when it all clicks. It doesn't click right away, but still. Junior year, that's when it actually gets going. Everybody around your grade, they're chilled out. Most of them are. Some of them are still dicks, but still. Most of them are chilled out. You make friends with some of your underclassmen. You start actually having sort of a social image for the first time in your life. And for the first time in your life, you actually looked forward to going to school. A sentiment that you could have never believed. And so when the next year, before I graduate, before my last day of school, when I read that letter, I'm going to remember where I was when I wrote that letter, and where you were and how you were feeling, and everything that you were going through, everything that you had to deal with. And genuinely, everything that made you at that point, to now 4 years later, to where you are now. And I can't say it enough. I thank you from the bottom of my heart, to the fullest of my heart, that you didn't try to do it. And I'll always love you for it. And I'm pleased to say that it has been a long journey. There has been some nights. There has been rough days. There has been a lot of stuff. And your dad, he's not doing so well. But you got away from him. You got away from a toxic part of your life. And with one half of that toxic part of your life, you actually started to flourish. You actually started to become an actual human being. You actually started to really be something. You actually started to actually feel like a person, feel like you're living instead of spectating. Now you actually look forward. You're actually feeling grateful that you're living right now. The only regret that I have is that it has just come this far. That this could have happened earlier, but the longest battles make the strongest soldiers. And I consider myself a strong soldier in a way. And I couldn't be more proud of myself. That was pretty damn good to get off my chest. I love all of you guys. I can't thank y'all enough. I can't thank my friends enough. God bless. Normal content. I'm either going to post an edit or I'm going to post a video regarding the weekend. What I can inform you is that video is going to come out tomorrow, and we're going back on that grind. We're going back on that grind to try to get some money off this thing. And I think as of right now, I can fucking do it. Whatever you put your mind to, you can absolutely do it to the fullest. Fuck what the system says. Let's fucking go.